The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, guys, welcome back to another KevCAM night class tonight. Tonight have Greg Payton helping out with my little sidekick and helping out with whatever I'm missing out for you guys. Greg, are you with us?
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the class.
Yeah, and I do see quite a few new names in here, so I'll go through the kind of the housekeeping. We do use GoToMeeting for you guys for these night classes. Everybody is muted just to eliminate any background noise, but if you guys do have questions, there is a questions panel for you guys. Definitely feel free to ask those questions at any one point in time. Greg will let me know what those questions are, and we'll get those addressed right away for you guys. If you guys do have ideas going forward for these night classes, send those over to me via email, and we'll get those added in there for the class lineup for you guys. And we'll send you off some SolidCAM care package for as a thank you for doing it. And for those of you guys who don't have my email address, I'm putting it right now in the chat for you guys. All right, so you should see my email address in there. So send those ideas over to me via email, and we'll get those added in there for the class lineup. And then last thing before we get rolling here is every night class is being recorded. So if you guys go over to SolidCAM University or KevCAM, you should see the SolidCAM University channel here and have all of our night classes recorded, plus tip of the days, plus Mark does a phenomenal job on some medium-sized videos at, let's say, between 2 minutes to 10 minutes long, kind of going through the software as well. So great place to come in here and learn and check it out. All right. So with that being said, is tonight we're going to kind of kick off the what's new in iMachining for you guys. And there's a lot of new stuff that they've added in here per your guys' request, all based off of the stock and the SolidWorks model itself. So, all right, so we'll just start off here, starting with a new iMachining here. So first thing what I want to do is I'm going to switch it over to iRough and iFinish, and the thing that has changed the most in here for you guys is the geometry itself. So all these geometries are all feature-based recognition for you guys, and what it does is it looks at the actual model itself, and it looks at the stock for you guys. So what I'll do is kind of show you guys the difference between these here and kind of go through each one of them and some examples for each one of them. Excuse me. All right, so the first one right here is our feature recognition by face. So this is basically all you guys have to do is click on a face, and it's going to machine it. It's going to know where that stock starts off. It's going to know your depth for you. Basically, all you have to do as a user is pick your tool and how aggressive do you want to be inside that cut for you guys. So really cool feature in there. Now next we have, which is our feature recognition by chains. So what we're going to do here is we can actually chain something, and it's going to recognize what that chain is doing, plus as well as looking at the updated stock for you guys. Now the next one over is the outside feature recognition. So let's say you guys are just milling a part and you have your saw cut material and we have our SolidWorks model. We basically just want to machine up everything up to our model itself. So it's doing a basic outside perimeter looking at your stock versus the SolidWorks model. Now last on our list is the old legacy iMachining. So you guys pick the chains, you guys pick the stock, all that stuff. It's not any feature recognition going on right there, and it's just our basic chaining, kind of like what you guys are familiar with inside pocketing or anything 2019 and older for iMachining. So first thing what we'll do here is we'll do our face. Very easy to use. So all you guys have to do is actually click on, which recognition mode you want to go on. And now I can just come over here and click on faces, and you'll see them auto populate in my tree right here. So I got faces 1, faces 2, faces 3 right now. So now, like I said before, is basically all I need to do is pick a tool that I want to use. So let me just kind of see what I got here. So I have a 15 millimeter radius right there. And I'll just go with a 20 millimeter end mill.
Yeah, for those of you that have used SolidCAM 2018, this is an expansion on the smart face technology that we introduced in the last iteration of SolidCAM. So you can see that when you select those faces, anything that has a wall attached to it is going to be a closed portion of that chain, and anything that's going to be open-ended, you're going to see that chain is marked as open, so the tool can extend past it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I forgot to mention that. So it is looking at our stock, and like Greg was saying, is it's utilizing that smart face technology. So you can see my blue line is my wall, and my yellow line is my open pocket. Now, as I pick this, and now that I have a tool in there, you'll see my different, let me kind of get this pan around here for you guys. You can see my different levels of what's going on. So I have an upper level of 1 millimeter, and my lower level is 40 millimeters. Now my second pocket that I chose was a upper level of 1 millimeter and a lower depth of 50 millimeters. And same thing over here, 40 millimeters down below and 1 millimeter above. And it gives you, you can kind of see a nice shaded blue reference for you guys to kind of get a good grasp on what it's actually cutting there. So from right there, I can go over to my wizard and kind of like what we're used to seeing here, and I can just do a save and calculate. And you'll see my tool path is adapted to the automatic face detection that Greg was just talking about, along with my levels that are linked to that as well. So it's really nice, easy to quick grab and go, basically. So now, if I wanted to, now that I've made that one, I can make a copy of what I just did here. And now for my geometry, instead of grabbing these 3 faces, maybe I want to grab the geometry over on this face over here. And what it's actually done is you'll see that we actually have an undercut going on right here. So what it does is it takes a Z projection straight down. So if I was able to get straight down on this, it's going to look straight down on that model. Even though that I grab this face right here, you can see the geometry going out to this line right here. The iMachining automatically knows that it cannot come in collision with the SolidWorks model itself. So from right there, I got that set up. We got our tooling set up right here. You can see my levels are auto-populated again. So it's accommodating for my stock that's there, along with going down to this specific level. And like I said, if we take a Z shot straight down on what we're doing here, it's going around this perimeter, not coming in collision with our SolidWorks model at any one point in time. So we can just do a save and calculate.
And we can see the solid blue line of the selected geometry in contrast to the tab of the 3D model in which the iMachining is staying away from.
Yep.
So we're actually using the model itself to protect the tool path from gouging into those tabs.
Absolutely. And that is right in your geometry against our, we got our stock right here. And I'm going to cover this, all this other stuff next week. My main goal for this week is to get you guys very familiarized with the new feature recognition that we have inside of iMachine for you guys. Okay, so that is the face. Now, if you guys also think of as the face as using like HSS and selecting the faces that way, this is exactly how it's appeared here. So you just got to select on the face that you want to work on, and then you're good to go. So now, if I go ahead and hop out of here, let's say that I don't have a face to select on, and I just have a chain. So let's start a new iMachining operation here. And it'll go right to our geometry. And now we can do the feature recognition by chain. So what this allows me to do is create a chain. So what I can do here is grab our chain, and we'll wrap that chain around here. Now with the chaining stuff is it's going to pick up your upper level for you, but you will need to tell it a depth. So let's go ahead and grab a tool. And what size radius? We have a 8 millimeter, so the max we can go is a 16, 20, 10 millimeter end mill will work. Hit our green check mark. And now, if we go ahead and set up our levels like I was telling you, like I said, the upper level is automatically looking at what's left over from the stock. Now for our lower level here, I'm just going to go right to the top of our fixture. So all I have to do is click on that field, grab the top of my fixture, and we'll say stay above by 0.1 millimeter. And like I said before, you can see your levels. So the upper level is going to start off at minus 44.7 millimeters, and we're going to go down to 69.9 millimeters of the depth. And we're actually going, you can see, like Greg was talking with that blue line, you can see how deep that's actually going there. Now maybe I would just want to go up a little bit more, so I could do like a 0.5 millimeters, and you'll see it automatically change along with it. Now, like we were telling you before, is it's all based off of the updated stock. So if we turn on our updated stock over here and move this down, you'll see that's exactly where I've been left off. So I still have my material over here, and this is the area that I'm going to be machining in the light blue color. So from right here, if I do save and calculate, you'll see that it's machining down in there, and it's going to get that material out of there as well. 1 second here. Let's do a quick simulate. And my chain is not going to the entire diameter here.
I think you picked the wrong spot on your fixture.
Oh, did I?
Because of that dovetail. Yeah, it's trying to stay in between that dovetail.
Okay, so let's do bottom of the part here. And let's go a minus 0.1 millimeters. There we go. Yep, good call. So now, if I do a simulate on here, we're going all the way down, and that dovetail is left there to flip that part around. But you can see that everything is right on size for us, going right up to all basically off of what I've chained in that chain list. So this works really good on working on a face that doesn't have a floor to it. So we can also do for this instance is, let's go ahead and close out of here. And I want to work on this area right here. So what I'll do is we'll do an iMachining here. and we'll do our iRough plus finish, do geometry, and it's grabbed my one face here. Let me grab my other face. Oops. And one thing you got to remember is make sure this is selected over here, because if we just click on feature recognition, click on the part, it doesn't know that if we're trying to do a face recognition or by chain, so we have to highlight it in the field down here to get those faces to pop in there. And
it's basically following the same rules that are set up in SolidWorks, where you have to highlight the input box and then make your selections.
yeah, yep, great point. All right, so we'll grab that same tool that we were just using. Save and calculate. And you can see the blue area is the entire area that I'm going to be machining off here. And if we want, I can click and drag my updated stock down and everything will update, and we can also play it through here. Oops, play, come on. And let me just grab my face one here again. Unselect, grab this face. Oh, let's just do a fresh start here. Grab this face and this face. All right, now play it through. Come on. It's not grabbing my stock. 1 second here. And I'm not going far enough out with my stock, so should have I'll have to look into this a little bit deeper for you guys here. For some reason, it's not picking up my stock on the right-hand side. But so what we can do is, let's do this. Let's go ahead and add a 2D iMachining here. And what we'll do is set our geometry to the outside perimeter. Using our larger 20 millimeter tool. We got a cut length of 40. What do we have on this one? 40 is 30. Here we go. Here's a nice tool here we can grab. And now, so it's seeing that I have leftover stock all the way around for cutting the entire perimeter of our part here. Do save and calculate. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually move this operation below our other face operation. We'll do a calculate. And you'll see how all this stuff is all tied together. Is, like I said, it's all based off of our updated stock. Actually, I wanted this face down below this one. There we go. So now if we go ahead and simulate this, we're doing our outside and getting our faces in there. And we should be right up to size here. What you got, Greg?
I was going to say we only briefly touched on it, but when you're selecting that outer profile feature recognition, we're essentially taking the stock boundaries and cutting up to the silhouette of the part model and removing everything that's on that outer boundary. And you can see that in the dynamic highlighting of the volume to be removed, that light blue shaded section.
Yep, going around here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of jumping around a little bit when it comes to the geometry selections. But yeah, it's acting as a silhouette of the part to the extent of the stock boundary and removing that material.
And also kind of brings up a great point here is very crucial to have your stock is exactly what you guys are seeing on your machine. If your stock is bigger than this, then iMachining is not going to see it as your stock being larger than what you have on your screen right here. And we may get a plunge straight down on your stock since it's not accurately described inside SolidCAM for you guys. So, okay. So now that we got outside perimeter and everything kind of machined up here, I need to flip my part up on the side, and I'm going to do our single line geometry. So we'll do another 2D iMachining here. In geometry, we are going to use the feature recognition by chains. Click new. Oop. And actually, I forgot to do something. I'm going to switch it over to my Mac 2 here. And I want to machine that flat along with that radius. Hit our green check mark. Now, like I said before, with the chain mode, we do have to tell it a depth. So we'll go ahead and do a drill depth or a pocket depth up to, let's say, that point right there. And we'll do an extra -1 millimeter just to go a little bit farther past. And we are running a 15 millimeter tool or a radius, so I can get by with my 20 millimeter here. And you guys, like Greg was saying, as soon as I grab my tool, you'll actually see the highlighted blue section of the area that it's going to cut. So you'll see that I kind of have updated stock and my target right here and the levels that it's going to be cutting at. So we're basically taking a light cut on this floor here and then coming in here and machining out this entire area. So this is a nice benefit because before what we would have to do is we'd have to draw a sketch in there, and with that sketch we'd have to mark open edges along with that sketch. So now it's all based off of the actual model itself along with the stock itself. So let's go ahead
and because we're recognizing that stock, we're able to minimize a lot of that error cutting that used to be associated with 2D iMachining. Like Kevin was saying, you'd either have to define this as an open pocket or give it a geometry offset in order to be able to make these cuts. But now that we're recognizing what stock is left to be cut, and we can see that in that dynamic highlighting of the volume that's going to be removed, we can focus the tool on cutting only those areas that still need to be cut, and kind of bridge that gap for those people that are used to using the 3D iMachining. Anybody that's used the 3D iMachining module knows that we are using the stock and target material to cut to a near net result of roughing to that target material. And with this 2D iMachining being enhanced in the way that it is, we're able to get similar results in a 2D fashion, but still cut only the material that needs to be cut, and thus reducing machining times, calculation times, and so forth.
And along with minimizing cutting that air cut, because we all know those air cuts don't don't pay the bills. It does last a lot longer on tool life, but definitely does not pay the bills. So to give you a good representation of kind of what's going on here is, and kind of touch on this a little bit, but we have what's our upper level, our lower level here, that is in orange. Our blue is representing our stock material, and then the gray area is our SolidWorks model itself. So like Greg was saying, is it's looking at the stock the entire time. So it's just going to take, let me get a straight down view here. It's just going to take one nice cleanup cut along here, and then it's going to focus more on where the material is. So it's going to come in there, do our light cut, and then do our D-slot tricoidal cutting in there, getting, or I should rephrase that. It's going to do our D-slot tricoidal cutting first, getting all that material out of there, and then it's going to come back and do one nice finished pass going all the way around for us. Now, since we basically have that exact same thing on the opposite side, what I can do is just do save and copy here. And now what I can do is go to my geometry, switch it over to my Mac 3 here, and we'll do new geometry. And we'll grab that, basically that same geometry that we had before. Now keep in mind, like I said before, we do have to tell it the levels. So we'll just go up to this point right there, doing a -1 millimeter. And you'll see as soon as I grabbed my levels or my tool, that the blue box, also known as my stock, is going to be updated as well. Now, the really nice thing that they've done in here is, now that I have this being shown, is if I come in here and let's say I do this as a oops, and I do a minus, maybe 100 or 10 millimeters, all this stuff is all automatically updated based off of my updated stock right here. So let me save and calculate this here. And drag this down. And you can see that my stock is only going up to a certain point right here. So I really don't need to go any deeper. So, let's take this to the extreme. And you can see that, if I have this typed in there, and sorry guys, I'm not real, I'm not the best at on metric, but if we have an extra 100 millimeters in there, I can see that, whoa, wait a minute, I'm going way too deep. What I'm going right there, I either got a pocket depth wrong or my delta is wrong. So that's a nice feature in here. You can just do your -1, and you'll see that the blue box updates with it as well. And the blue line and the bottom represents the level along with the shaded blue areas right here for you guys. So hopefully that gives a good, let me just do save and calculate. And you can see our toolpath updates along with it as well. So like I said, real cool, I think what's cool, options in here for you guys, all based off of the updated stock along with your SolidWorks model. And like I said before, if this stock, let me hop out of here for a second, is a little bit off and we're doing our outside finishing here, it's not going to see, if your stock is a little bit larger than what you specified inside SolidCAM, to go along with Greg's point of eliminating any air cutting, we get real close to that stock. So if your stock is just a hair larger, there is that possibility that that tool will be coming down on top of the material instead of slowly arcing into the material like you're seeing right here. Now, the nice thing with this is, since it's all based off of updated stock, I can click and drag my operations around. So you'll see I got tool 1, tool 3, tool 5. Well, let's get this tool 3 back up where it should be so I can eliminate any tool changes. And you guys will see that I got the little stars right next to my operations that have all been moved around, and anything below that, and that's because of that updated stock. So all we have to do is just highlight the stars, do a calculation, and it's going to go through and look at that stock material again, along with our rest material and the stock there, and clean up everything in between. So you guys can shuffle these around now without having to go back in and change any geometry, changing any levels, or anything like that for you guys. Whew. Any questions, guys? I don't see anything there. And then one thing I did forget to mention is the kind of the legacy geometry. So the legacy geometry is basically what you guys have been used to seeing since 2008, is just changing your geometry. Let's say, we're doing it kind of the old school way per se. And so if I wanted to machine any material going around here, or even this face right here, I would just manually go in there, click new, and I could chain my stock as one chain. Oops, I'm on the wrong coordinate system here. So I can grab my chain for my stock, and let's say, we were doing the outside perimeter going around. It's grabbing the wrong chain here. Undo. And you can see this is why the feature stuff is really helpful. Do a top-down view here. So to come in here, grab my chain, and we will change direction. Here, here. Like I said, this is why the feature recognition is extremely helpful, because it eliminates a lot of this chain picking more than anything. Anyway, so we chain that.
The ease of geometry selection, along with the model protection, is huge in 2019.
You can see just how much time I'm kind of wasting going through here and grabbing all my chains. Here.
Yeah, we're going to have to find a person that can edit videos to speed this process up on the YouTube side of things.
We'll be putting people to sleep here. God. But it gives a good representation on kind of what it's doing behind the scenes for you guys.
But it's good to showcase, because for people that do have files that are utilizing the legacy data and this old chain selection method, anything that was done in a prior version of SolidCAM is going to be compatible with SolidCAM 2019. If you are familiar and set in your ways with how you used to do something, you're still capable of using iMachining the same way that you did in years past. This new geometry selection is definitely going to be a benefit to, I would say, the vast majority of people. But if you still want to do it in the ways that you're familiar with doing it, that option's still available to you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we don't want to take you guys out of your comfort zone, but as you can see, it took me, a minute to chain that outside perimeter, and I'm still not even done. So normally I would have to come in here and do mark chain is open for my stock, and then I could accept that. And now it's going to machine everything from the stock up to my model. And it, like I said, it took me a minute or two there. Or I can just basically just click on the outside feature recognition, and it's automatically going to do it for me based off, like what Greg was saying, the silhouette of what it's seeing there. So that is, let me just check my notes real quick here. That is, yeah, that is pretty much everything I want to show for you guys tonight, is more or less the feature recognition. Now, next week I'm going to get into even deeper with the iMachining, which kind of goes along with the stock, target fixture, floor fillets, and as well as the new multi-tool, or not new, but kind of updated multi-tool that is inside the iMachining itself for you guys. And I did show a little bit of that in the 2.5D pocket, but we'll get more in depth of kind of what's going on there, along with some of the settings you guys can switch over for you guys. So, all right, Greg, do we have any questions that I missed out on here? Must not be, he went on mute. Let me just open my questions panel here. Yeah, I don't see anything in there. So any questions relating this, definitely shoot myself an email, Greg Payton email. Both of our email addresses will be in the YouTube video description as well. And like I said, let us know what we can do to help you guys out. And if you guys do have ideas going forward, let us know what we can do to teach you guys. Now, like I said, next week we are going to be covering the second half of iMachining, part 2, and then we are going to get into the new simulation that has been added into SolidCAM 19. And what I mean by the new simulation, yes, no, is if you guys are running 19, this new SolidCAM beta simulator. Now it is in beta. We are adding stuff to it daily. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's in there, especially with the stock target comparison, along with updated stock and all that for you, plus the ability to fast forward and rewind now and create a recording. So anything I missed there, Greg, for the feature recognition?
I think it's pretty good. Just reiterating the points, the new 2D iMachining is now capable of looking at the 3D model and adjusting tool path if it's going to impede that model. Taking features off of it, the dynamic highlighting of the volume that's going to be removed is a great visual indicator of what that tool path is going to do, as well as eliminate air cuts. So I think you guys are in for a treat with this 2019 release. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's very exciting for Greg and I to show you guys this new stuff, and hopefully you guys are excited to use it as well, because this is something that you guys requested. So it's kind of like Greg was saying, it's taking into factor the 3D iMachining and bringing it down to the 2D level for you guys. So for those of you guys that are just running the 2.5D Pro, this is going to be a huge benefit for you guys as well. So, but I guess with that being said, I don't see any other questions. So like I said, anything comes up along the way, shoot us an email or give us a call on the support line, and we're here to help you guys out in any way possible. All right, guys, have a great evening. Bye-bye.